Hey, am I live? Did that work? All right, we're back. Hold on, I got to do a few little things with the settings, but I think I got back on. It wouldn't let me go back to the old chat. No idea why. I don't know anything about how this works, as I've said 17 times now. So I need like a IT person full-time on staff. All right, 1 second here. We're going to do that. We're going to make this happen because I have to give you my winner. I know you guys got bills to pay and kids to put through college. So hang tight. All right, here we go. Here we go. We're getting close. Hang tight. We are getting very close. This is so going to be worth it. Hang tight. All right. Okay. Very good. All right. So we got it going. We're back. Am I back? Yes. Hello. I don't know why I'm typing. I could just say hello. All right. Sorry about that. We have what, like 10 people left? I have no idea what happened. I'm going to blame the extra traffic of the Super Bowl on knocking the first chat offline. I swear to God, I didn't hit any buttons or do anything. I was just, BSing as usual, and the thing just stopped working. So spread the word. I'm back again. Yes, I'm back. All right, where were we? All right, I should probably pick the winner before this dies again. All right, the members are flowing back in with the comments. We're going to give everyone a second to regroup. And if you wondering what you missed, not much. I was clicking on buttons for 5 minutes. None of them worked, and I started a new chat. So another mystery. One of these days we're going to do a chat that starts on time, that goes the whole length with no issues, and I actually, think of something intelligent to say on the sign off. One day that's going to happen. All right. Okay, there's only like a couple of people on, and since I'm only members can ask questions, they probably went to finish their appetizers. That's fine. So who is going to win the game? Get your pencils out. First of all, let me do the over-under. The over-under bet, which I think is 47, 45, it doesn't matter. The amount of points scored in this game are going to be like 60 to 70 points. It's going to be ridiculous, like video football game type of performance. So take all your money. I'm talking rent, kids' fund, kids' college fund. Put it on the over if you still have time to get your money in. Most bookies work right up until game time. If you need a number, leave me a message. The winner of the game will be San Francisco. I'm going with the underdog. They're 1 point underdogs. Having said that, that's my heart pick. I'm a New York Giants fan, so technically I want both teams to lose. But if I had a pick, since I live in San Francisco, and it's good for the city, everyone's in a good mood for a few days if they win, I'm going to go with the 49ers. But my brain tells me Kansas City might win. So I know that's like zero help. But anyway, I'm betting with my heart. When in doubt, if you have a conflict between the brain and the heart, you always choose the heart answer. That's just good philosophy to go by. So heart says 49ers. Brain says Mahomes is going to throw for like 17 touchdowns and they'll probably win. But the real money, and you could take this to the bank, it's a lock. Bet the over. I know 49ers have a good defense, but they're just going to be running all over the field today, both teams. All right, we got some questions coming back. So here we go. Someone's going to make our tart fillet next week. That's good. That's a potato casserole with just a ridiculous amount of French cheese. If you haven't made tart fillet, you should make that. It's amazing. I'm just enjoying you being live. Well, welcome to that very small club. What kind of pans do you use for sauteing? I use a really cheap nonstick from a restaurant supply store that I don't even know the brand of. Although I do have some new nonstick pans coming from a new vendor. I'm going to show those off when we do the big reveal in the new kitchen. And then just regular stainless steel pans. I have a few All-Clad. I have a few KitchenAid. I have a few different vendors. They all work really good. Any high-end, expensive stainless steel pan is going to be nice. For a little lower budget, the Better Homes and Gardens pans, I have a set of those that they sent me. I think my corporate overlords own that property. But the Better Homes and Gardens stainless steel pan set, I thought was great, really good, especially for the money they're charging. So that's a recommendation if you're trying to save a few bucks. All right. I'm from South Jersey, and I remember this tomato paste bread that came in Italian restaurants. Kind of like a tomato pie, but less saucy. Do you have a recipe? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. That sounds like focaccia that has the tomato paste brushed on top and then the green onions they sprinkle. Is that what you're thinking of? Is it focaccia? I have not been to South Jersey in a long time, which is a shame because those are my people. I went to school with a lot of South Jersey people, but I have to get back there. What's the bigger cooking day for you? Super Bowl, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthday, Arbor Day, or other? Well, of course, Arbor Day is a classic. But no, it's probably, that's a tough one. They all are different. Thanksgiving is probably my favorite because you get to make stuff and eat stuff that you don't eat the rest of the year, which again, I think I've gone into this, is such a big mystery why we don't make some of that stuff the rest of the year because it's so good. Or if we did, would it not be special? Maybe that's it. So if I were to pick one cooking food day, it's Thanksgiving because I think that just the whole holiday started as a celebration of food and a feast and giving thanks for all the goodness on the table and around you. So I would have to pick Thanksgiving. Shabunka, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Hello from Kansas City. What would you put in a Kansas City dip? Interesting. What is some of Kansas City's indigenous foods? We would chop whatever those are up, add some cream cheese, bake it at 350 for 25 minutes, and that would be a Kansas City dip. But what would those things be? Is Kansas City fried ravioli, or is that a different town? How about a fried ravioli dip? That sounds weird. Renee has a sourdough question. Could an enameled cast iron pan stand being heated to 500 for an hour, then have boiling water poured in it? That sounds dangerous. I don't know if pouring water in a 500-degree enamel cast iron pan is the best idea. I'm imagining it could probably take it. But I don't know. I think you can make a really good loaf of sourdough bread without risking your pan exploding. So I'm not sure how to fragments in their hand upsetting me. Oh, there we go. Someone said burnt ends is a Kansas City specialty. You could do a burnt ends dip. That is a great idea. So let's take some burnt ends of brisket or chop up a brisket, put it in the oven until it's super crispy, drain off the fat, use that for home fries the next day. And then we'll take all those burnt ends and we'll mix that with, I don't know, tomato base or cream cheese base. Barbecue seems too on the nose because it's always with barbecue. Burnt ends dip. We'll have to figure that out for next year. Burnt ends and a provolone mornay sauce, which is a cheesy cream sauce. I love it. I love that idea. Let's make that happen. Would you ever consider showing us how to make a protein progressive, carb conservative, meal prep friendly recipe? I would consider that, just not off the top of my head. Okay, Deep. I love your first name, by the way, Deep. I don't want to brainstorm live, but high protein, low carb, I think is what that meant. That's a lot of the cooking I do is that accidentally. If you notice the channel, I'm definitely getting away from gigantic portions of carbs. Although I could just live on gigantic portions of carbs. But anyway, sorry, Deep, I don't have anything off the top of my head, but just stay tuned. Those are gonna pop up on the channel just by accident. Thanks, Steve. Steve became a member. He found that join button. Seek, thank you. SEK, is that how you pronounce it? Thank you so much. Kevin, every time we add a new dish to the menu, we first look up to see if you have a video. Keep up the good work. Much love from Sweden. Hello, Sweden. Thank you very much. Your tomato sauce is great. Is it considered a spaghetti sauce? Lila wants to know that. Well, the answer is going to sound like a very smart-ass answer. But if you put a tomato sauce on spaghetti, it is always 100% of the time considered a spaghetti sauce. That is the only real thing that makes a spaghetti sauce a spaghetti sauce. In fact, I shouldn't give this away, but towards St. Patrick's Day, I want to do something called an Irish stew ragu, which is a pasta sauce, meat sauce based on an Irish stew recipe. If you put it on pasta, it's a pasta sauce. That's the only rule. Speaking of which, there's no rules. Just right. I want to start teaching cooking classes for kids. Any recommendations on techniques or recipes to start with? Well, cooking with kids, I would say start right with deep frying and just weed out the kids that just don't have the pain tolerance to take it. No, I'm totally kidding. I would start off with maybe some salads and dressings. That's nice. They get to whisk things, no burns, no real cut risk. Bread would be fantastic. Do overnight sourdough, or not sourdough, the overnight no knead recipe. You could slowly work the knife skills up. And that's where I would start. Just super simple. And of course, obviously, foods they like. So vegetables while they're eating the soup they made. I think that would work. And bless anyone that wants to start teaching kids to cook. Why that is not a mandatory class in every school, like grade school through high school, is just beyond me. I mean, sure, geometry, great. I use it sometimes when we divide dough and roll things into octavals. But why aren't... Hi, sorry for asking again. John, your streaming is skipping a bit. I'm not sure if you skipped my question. All right, what's your question, Pinky? Come on. I need Pinky's questioning guide based on your personality. Chef Jaw, did you see it and what are your thoughts? Well, I have heard the term Dungeons and Dragons just in TV shows, and generally they're making fun of it. So I really don't know what it is. I know it's a game that some kids play. That's really the extent of it. So I cannot comment. I am honored and flattered that I'm a character, Chef Jaw. So we'll have to follow up with that. I'm intrigued now. Do I get any royalties? Is any money collected in the game? So anyway, let me know, Pinky, if that answered your question. I really haven't seen it. I'm not sure how to see it. Send me a screenshot on Twitter, and I'll make fun of it. Your take on Ethiopian Doro Wat, please. I need to do some Ethiopian food, especially the breads. So stay tuned for that. SF Chipino for Super Bowl, Stevie says. Yeah, I think that would be delicious, but do you want drunk people at your party with giant bowls of wet tomato-based seafood soup with crab shells and mussel shells? And that sounds like a dry cleaning bill waiting to happen. So I'll eat Chipino any day, but for a Super Bowl party, it's a bold choice. Having said that, you eat what you want to eat. John, I thought dividing dough is algebra. I guess you're right. Algebra and geometry, I thought were the same thing. No, algebra is where they put letters instead of numbers. That never made sense. No, I meant geometry dough, like it's a round and we cut it in half and then in quarters to make 20. Made the candies Buddha hand. It's great, thank you. How do you keep the sugar syrup from crystallizing? I wish I knew. That's a problem I've had too. Same like honey. Why does sugar crystallize eventually? I don't know how to prevent that. Although I do know if you reheat it with a little drop of water, it uncrystallizes and nobody knows the difference. Thank you, Pinky. Pinky Oats. Thank you very much. I'd like to see you make tahini from the seeds. That sounds like a good idea. I'd like to make a black tahini from the seeds. I'll do the regular one too. But I had a dish a couple years ago. It was a version of dolma, which is the Greek, is it Greek? Mediterranean, I better play it safe. The Mediterranean dish where you take a grape leaf and you stuff it with rice and lamb sometimes, and you roll it up, and they wrapped up dirty rice. We're talking pork, chicken livers, rice, and they made a dolma out of this dirty rice, and they served it with a black sesame dressing, like a black sesame tahini, and it was one of the most delicious things I've ever had. I'm trying to remember the bar here in San Francisco. ABV is the name of the bar in San Francisco, ABV. So if you know anyone that works at ABV in San Francisco, management team, that chef probably is left. I'm guessing that's why they don't make it. But if not, please bring that dish back. It was insanely good. Yes, Drew, our Brew Daddy, 1911, you did miss me pick the winner. The winner is anyone who bets the over. You're going to win a ton of money. Bet the over. My prediction officially that I did with my heart is San Francisco 49ers. But my head, my analytical brain, the part of the brain that's supposed to know how to do live chats and figure out the buttons, thinks Kansas City might sneak it out. But forget I said that. My heart says San Francisco is going to be victorious. There's just something about the team this year. They have just been on one of those runs that it kind of reminds me of some of my Giants teams back in the day where you couldn't really understand how they were pulling all these games out, and they did, and people pinning balls to their helmets and so forth. So I'm going to go 49ers. So if you missed the prediction, 49ers will win just barely, or Kansas City will win. But there's going to be a ton of points scored. I hope I'm not jinxing the game now. It's probably going to be 10-7, and I'll get blamed. But anyway, there's going to be a lot of points scored, and San Francisco will barely win. All right, so that's my official prediction. Did I miss? Yes, you should still be friends with them, because if you were enemies, you wouldn't be able to eventually explain they're not the same thing. Now, can I tell you right now the difference without Googling it and giving you the exact terminology? No. But creme fraiche is just a fresh fermented cream that is uncooked after that process starts. So you mix your active culture from the buttermilk into the cream, and you let it sit out at room temp, and the little critters in there have relations, and they multiply, and it ferments the cream. Let me know if I'm getting too technical. And it starts to thicken, and then you refrigerate it for a few more days, and you have what seems to look like sour cream, but it's creme fraiche. Sour cream, I believe, is cooked and then thickened, but I don't know exactly how because I'm not in the sour cream business. Sour cream is more acidic, so even though I often make creme fraiche and use it and love creme fraiche, it's one of the world's greatest foods ever invented. Sometimes for like a baked potato, you don't want creme fraiche. It's not tangy enough. I want that nice acidic, creamy but sharper flavor profile. So just because you can make, just like you need both friends that don't know the difference and know the difference. So there you go. Thank you, C Winter 84. I crack up when you are sitting or wrapping something and say around the outside, around the outside. Any other rappers you want to shout out? How about them Chiefs? Go Chiefs. I'm afraid to click on your profile picture. I think we're going to just leave the small thumbnail where it is. Yeah, the round the outside, round the outside, round the outside is obviously a reference to Eminem saying that, even though it predates that much further back. That's a Malcolm McLaren line. Speaking of Kansas City, square dancing, kick him in the knee, slap him in the shin, whatever they say during those dances. Round the outside is when they do the circles and they go around each other. So that is the full extent of my square dancing knowledge, and way more than you will ever need to know in your lifetime. But anyway, that's the real story behind Round the Outside. It was a ripoff of a square dancing call that I think Malcolm McLaren, am I getting that name right, worked into a song, and then Eminem stole it decades later. Were you at the World Series or living in SF during the '89 earthquake? Marty P, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. I was at the highest elevation possible in 1989 in San Francisco. I was on the very top floor of the Carnelian Room, of the Bank of America building, rather, which was where the Carnelian Room restaurant was located. And I think it was 54 floors, 52 floors. I forget the exact number of stories. But we were literally just about to serve a banquet for like 400 or 500 people. And we had just finished, me and like 5 other cooks, searing off these lamb scallopini, these lamb cutlets. And we had them all in the hot box. And we were getting the sauces ready and getting ready for the service, which was going to be in about an hour. And all of a sudden, the water in the steam table started splashing out, which is not a usual thing. And because we were so high up, and the building's kind of built on these rollers to combat earthquake damage, we really didn't feel the real rumbling kind of violent shock, but it was more of a gradual. But then we had the radios on, we heard what happened, and we saw smoke coming up from different spots. Looking out the windows, it was really scary. And long story short, the manager, as any good restaurant manager would do, canceled the banquet, of course, and we ended up drinking for about an hour, because what else were you supposed to do as 25-year-olds? And then we had to walk down 50-plus stories of stairs in our chef clogs, which is not the greatest idea ever. And I walked home through the dark city. A lot of the lights were out. And I met Michelle back here. She was at San Francisco State and brought a bunch of students that had been through the experience with her. And we all came back to our place, and I cooked everybody. Michelle and I cooked scrambled eggs with goat cheese and roasted peppers. And it was one of the best breakfasts ever, just because of the weirdness of the setting. So that's my where were you the day of the earthquake. And then the Giants lost the World Series, which added insult to injury. So anyway, interesting story, not a great story because it was an unfortunate situation, but we'll never forget that day, that night. Let's see here. What else we got? Andy Reid deserves a ring. Sure, we all do. Comcast is downloading all the commercials. I don't know what that means. I tend to binge watch your videos every day, and I don't get anything done. Michelle, that sounds like a personal problem, but I'm glad you do that. What do you got to get done? If you have time to binge watch my videos every day, you're doing something right. People would kill for that kind of free time. So I think you should not change anything. So that's my official advice. In your videos, would you mind sharing some tips about choosing groceries? How to find ripe? I would have to kind of do that at the store, how to pick a ripe avocado, the ones that are soft. Quality of fish, they don't smell. The eyes are bright, clean looking. Although I will give you one, in anticipation of summer, I will give everybody one of my favorite grocery shopping tips. When you go to pick a bell pepper, red, green, orange, yellow, doesn't matter. Pick up a few and feel the weight. Some bell peppers have giant, heavy seed pods inside, like $3 worth of seeds. Some you pick up and they'll feel really super light. They have just a little tiny seed pod. The outside can look exactly the same. So pick up a few, do like one of these deals, people wondering what you're doing, and you can get a pepper for half price. No joke. Try that out. Anyway, that's one tip for shopping. I would have to do like a dedicated shopping channel where I just go to the stores and someone films me talking about the produce and touching things. And that would be, I think, a fun show, but I would also be asked to leave the store pretty quickly. So I don't know if that would work out. Happy Super Bowl to you, Sandy. Not the worst way to go down those 50 stories. Yeah, John, that's a good point. I shouldn't complain about that. How long ago did you start subbing poblanos for bell peppers? And what do your Cajun friends think of that? Well, I'm sad to say I don't have any Cajun friends. I would love some. If you're going to pick a group of people to be friends with, the Cajuns, fantastic choice. I don't think I've completely subbed poblanos for green bell peppers, although I do use those a lot. They're more flavorful. They're thinner skin, thinner fleshed. I just find them a little more interesting, a little more spicy. But I've always been a lifelong defender of the green bell pepper. Some chefs refuse to use them, which is just ridiculous, because in some dishes you want that bitterness. It's an important part of the combination of flavors you're doing. Anytime you include something that's a little bit bitter in a recipe, it makes the other ingredients taste a little sweeter and a little more well-rounded. So there are reasons a lot of times for these seemingly, arbitrary additions to recipes. And if a recipe has green bell peppers in it and it's an old recipe, there's a good chance those are in there for a reason. So I'm going to actually have to watch myself in that. Have I been substituting too much? I'm gonna check myself before I wreck my whatever recipe it was. My hubby and I were a candlestick during the 89 quake. Scary, scary, scary. Yes, Barbara, I can imagine. Happy Super Bowl, Marty. Thanks, Lynette. What are you most excited about growing at Kismet? Tomatoes. Oh my God. I love San Francisco, but you cannot grow a decent tomato here. Especially our backyard is oriented where we don't get a lot of direct sun. And I don't know much about growing tomatoes, but I know you need a full day of blazing hot sun to really get the super juicy, sweet, beautiful, just dripping with goodness tomatoes. So if I had to pick one thing, I am so excited for some, just pick the tomato off the vine and just eat it, just dripping all over like just an animal. So I'm going to do that. In fact, I'm going to have to film myself. Maybe that'll be one of the first Kismet official videos, me just embarrassing myself eating a tomato off the vine. So thanks, Lynette. Good question. I always pick up some great tip shortcuts in your vids. Have you ever thought about a dedicated tips and tricks video for knife skills? Yeah, I've thought about it, but it never really works out because the tips I just think of as I'm making a recipe. I don't think I could film just 10 minutes of tips because it just cooking doesn't work that way. It's not what's the right word? It's modular. No, it's not right. Anyway, it doesn't like people say. Would you ever want to do a channel that's just skills? That's just cooking skills, like culinary school, and that sounds good on paper. But I think by just showing recipes like 2 a week for 15, 20 years, I think you're going to learn all the skills because it's in the recipe. And in the context of a recipe, way easier to understand than me just showing you, how to deglaze a pan, like the technique of it. You're going to see that when we make chicken marsala or one of the many recipes we've done. So that's my thoughts about actual specific tips. I like them to happen organically. Stefan, thank you for joining. Tammy, thank you. We got lots of new members. I hope remember, we're trying to get 10,000 new members, and we're about 9,000 something short. So if you can join, if you can't, no hard feelings. I love that. I love y'all. I'm not sure I would join, to be honest, if it was me. But I am more than appreciative. It is a huge and important factor right now. So each and every one of you that are joining, I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I just did a little apology post on the members community tab because I've just been neglecting everybody and I haven't not really had any Kismet stuff to post. We've been in kind of a holding pattern while some boring stuff's been fixed up, electrical and plumbing and that stuff. Nothing you can really take pictures of, trust me. But we're getting there, and there's going to be some extremely exciting footage coming along. I think thanks, Stefan, yeah. Tell us about your love of cayenne. I don't know if I can go into my love of cayenne. It's just something I started doing many years ago. I learned that if you put a little pinch of cayenne, a little bit of cayenne, a little touch of cayenne in a recipe, not enough to taste, not enough to make it spicy, just a little something, it actually enhances. And I read something later in life that verified this, that it actually opens up the pores or the receptors on your taste buds, on your tongue. So, but even before I heard that, I realized that it kind of did that. Just a few shakes just seemed to brighten up the sauce or the salad dressing or the whatever. And so I actually got a little shaker that you've seen in all the videos. And I have that right next to my salt and my black pepper and my vinegars and my oils, right in all the stuff you grab most often. And I just like to put a few shakes in everything. So I started doing it in the videos, and it's not a gimmick. If I put it in there, I really would put it in there, including chocolate desserts and some things you've seen me do, and you're like, he's just putting it in there so he can say cayenne. I know this guy's tricks. But no, it's actually supposed to be in there. So just something I started doing many years ago, and it became like a shtick on the show. And yes, I am the Godfather's Fredo of growing my own tomato. You could have just went with Fredo. I think people know that's from The Godfather. Michitsu. Did I say that right? Thank you for that one. Sandy used to live in Cloverdale. Great tomatoes, watermelon, happy hens, good times. Yeah, I probably will get some chickens eventually. That's a little more of a commitment to have, learn to everything I cook. Thank you so much. Thanks, Anne. Very nice. Where do you buy your kitchen towels? I have no idea. I think my mother-in-law, Peggy's given me most of my kitchen towels over the years, and Michelle buys them. And once in a while, I'll see one in a store, and I'll think that would look good under a plate. So yeah, no secret sources, just regular stores. When you're all settled at Kismet, would you mind making a members only tour of Chef John and Michelle's bar stash? Oh yeah, that's going to happen for sure. In fact, we just procured, is that the word? A little wooden bar thing to put all our goodies in. I don't see a join button. All right, Deborah, here's the deal. If you go to any of the videos on the channel, there'll be a join button under the video on the right. I'm pretty sure that's how you do it. If not, somebody help out Deborah. And if you go to just the main Chef John Food Wishes page, there'd be somewhere there's a join button. So I don't think you can join right on the chat here. If you can, someone let me know. But I think you have to actually go to the channel and find the join button. So everybody go to the channel right now, find the join button. Do it so that Deborah has some company. But thank you for trying. Even if you don't, thank you for trying. Just that you asked is almost good enough. It's not good enough, but it's almost good enough. All right, people are verifying. You just hit the join button. Will Michelle appear in a video? Yes. At some point she will, so I don't have to talk for the whole hour, because now my voice is getting very scratchy and raw. And I have to do a voiceover later for apple dumplings, which reminds me, I have to ask a question in a few minutes about apple dumplings. Because we had a little issue with the chat going dead for a minute, due to technical issues beyond my control. I'll go for a few more minutes. You are a big, funny hoot of your red round fruit. Very nice. I like how you worked in there that tomatoes are fruit, not a vegetable. I never get tired of hearing that argument at cocktail parties. It's very interesting. All right. Thank you, Altair Aguilar. Thank you for joining. All right, here's the question. I need suggestions for a celebrity and or rapper and or sports star and or pop culture figure that rhymes with dumplings or dumpling. All right, go. What do you got? So far, nothing. Let's go, people. Rhymes with dumplings. People, famous people, even minor celebrities like YouTube chefs. Anybody, anything rhymes with dumplings. See, it's not easy, not as easy as you think. Hotline bling? No, I can't use that. All right, we'll do this for about another minute. Then I'm going to sign off and let you enjoy the game. BJ Singh, Marty. So far, Marty P is leading with BJ Singh, famous golfer from Fuji. Or is it Fiji? From Fiji. That's a good one. Very impressive. Yao Ming. Oh my God. How did I not think of Yao Ming? One of the great Chinese basketball players of all time. Is he the only Chinese NBA player? Oh, Jeremy Lin. Wow, Yao Ming. Sorry, Marty, that might have just passed you. Thanks, Vance. And Vance paid $2 to make that suggestion, which really is interesting and appreciated. Vern Fleming. And who is Vern Fleming? Ryan Gosling of your dumpling. Yeah. Doesn't quite work. I appreciate it. Rodney King. A little controversial. When I think dumpling, I don't want to picture that scene. All right, I'm about to start choking. Are you and Andy Reid brothers separated at birth? I'll do the jokes. Possibly. You have to. My mom's passed. We can't ask her, but I think no. I don't think we're related. All right, I'm going to sign off. Now that I have my rhyme, and I'm about to start choking. This was a lot of fun. Sorry for the little unintended halftime show. I have absolutely no idea what happened. People are telling me it might have been just the traffic overload with the stream and the megabytes and the maybe servers were involved. I don't know. I don't understand any of this, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the game. One last time, in case you missed it, 49ers might win. Definitely bet the over. There's going to be just so many points scored. They will barely be able to keep track of them. If you really have to pay the rent, maybe Kansas City, as I hedge my bets. But my heart says 49ers. Let me do this one more time. All right, represent. I'm a New York Giants fan, full disclosure. I really don't care. Just want to see a good game. But I'm officially picking the 49ers to win. They will score lots of points, as will Kansas City. The over will take the money. And I'm going to say goodbye and stop while I'm behind and ahead. All right? So seriously, don't bet any money on a game. Just enjoy your snacks. Enjoy the game. Think of me eating my soft-boiled egg with crackers. That's going to be our Super Bowl spread. Maybe if I get the energy, we'll boil some plain rice and maybe put some butter on it. I don't know. Depends on my mood. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much. Let's do this again in a couple weeks. And I want to hear at that point how much you all won with all my amazing picks and advice, even though I think I picked both teams. Anyway, have a great day. Thank you. I'm signing off. This is me hitting the button. You ready? Thank you.